Men become what they believe in. This phrase by Marco Aurelio makes us reflect on the influence that relationships have on our lives, and often on how we can get lost in them. Have you ever stopped to think about whether your relationship is lifting you up or pulling you down? It's easy to get carried away by emotions and forget that true freedom comes from clarity of thought and reason. In today's video, we'll explore the 10 signs you might be in a toxic relationship. The importance of this topic cannot be underestimated. Healthy relationships are fundamental to our emotional and mental well-being. However, many of us remain trapped in dynamics that are harmful to us, without noticing the warning signs that are right before our eyes. Stoic philosophy teaches us to observe reality with a critical eye and to act wisely. Marco Aurelio, in his Meditations, invites us to become aware of what is beyond our control and to focus on what we can change, our reactions and choices. By understanding the signs of a toxic relationship, you equip yourself with the knowledge you need to make more conscious and healthy decisions. In this video, you will not only learn how to identify these signs, but also how practicing Stoic philosophy can help you break free from harmful patterns. In the end, we hope you feel more empowered, able to cultivate relationships that truly feed your soul and inner peace. Let's go on this journey of self-knowledge and reflection together. Get ready to open your eyes and mind to what is essential in your emotional life. Nowadays, the discussion about healthy and toxic relationships has become essential, especially in a world where interactions are increasingly mediated by technologies and social networks. In the past, relationships were often analyzed in family or community contexts, but today they expand into a virtual universe that can amplify both love and toxicity. What was once an intimate space is now often exposed and influenced by external pressures, such as the need for acceptance and validation. The growth of social networks, for example, has brought to light new dynamics that can distort the perception of love and affection. Recent studies indicate that many young people, when comparing themselves to idealized relationship standards on social media, end up feeling dissatisfied and inadequate. This dissatisfaction can lead to a cycle of emotional dependence, jealousy, and control, which are hallmarks of toxic relationships. In this context, it is essential that people recognize the signs that they are in an unhealthy relationship, as emotional health is as vital as physical health. The relevance of this topic cannot be underestimated. Toxic relationships not only affect individual well-being, but also have repercussions in wider social circles, affecting friends, family, and even the workplace. Therefore, raising awareness about these signs is a public health issue. The search for true, healthy love is a common aspiration, but people often find themselves trapped in relationships that drain their energy and self-esteem. Therefore, understanding how to identify these signs can be a crucial step towards self-preservation and building healthier relationships. In this sense, Stoic philosophy can offer a valuable perspective. Marco Aurelio, one of the greatest representatives of Stoicism, taught us the importance of self-awareness and reflection on our emotions and actions. A relevant Stoic principle in this context is the idea that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we react to it. By applying this vision to relationships, we can learn to observe our feelings and the dynamics that are established, without allowing ourselves to be carried away by impulsiveness or the need to please at all costs. For example, if we are in a relationship that causes us suffering, Stoic philosophy invites us to reflect on the true nature of that suffering. Instead of just looking for blame, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I become stronger? This approach helps us move away from the victim mentality and take control of our emotional lives. Recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship then becomes not just a defense, but an opportunity for personal growth. In a world where the pressure to fit in can be overwhelming, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate resilience and mental clarity. Instead of letting ourselves be carried away by destructive emotions, we can practice acceptance and self-discipline, remembering that true inner peace comes from the way we choose to respond to situations, not from external circumstances. Through this lens, it becomes easier to identify when a relationship is not aligned with our values and principles, allowing a more conscious choice about staying or leaving. Thus, by recognizing the signs of a toxic relationship, we are not only taking care of our emotional health, but also honoring the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, who taught us to live according to reason and virtue. The awareness that we have the power to shape our lives and move away from harmful situations is liberating and essential for building a healthier and more harmonious future. Through this practice of self-reflection and self-control, we can protect ourselves while also making space for relationships that truly contribute to our growth and happiness. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how emotions can guide us in our relationships? One of the first signs that you may be in a toxic relationship is a lack of self-control. Self-control, according to Stoic philosophy, is the ability to maintain serenity and clarity of thought even in the face of adversity. Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, emphasize the importance of cultivating ataraxia, a state of undisturbed tranquility, which allows us to respond to situations rationally rather than reacting impulsively. Imagine a situation where you and your partner are arguing. Words are spoken, emotions surface, and in a moment of loss of control, you may say things you don't really think. This lack of self-control not only hinders communication, but can escalate a small disagreement into a huge fight. By practicing ataraxia, you become more aware of your feelings and reactions. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather recognizing them and choosing how to respond to them. Let's think about a practical example. Suppose you feel constantly criticized by your partner. Instead of reacting with defensiveness or anger, you can choose to step back and reflect. What does this criticism really mean? Is it an opportunity for growth or a projection of the other person's insecurities? This pause can completely change the dynamic of the conversation. Stoic teachings remind us that how we perceive events is what really matters. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, teaches us that it is not things that disturb us, but the opinion we have about them. This quote invites us to reflect on how we interpret the actions of others. A critical partner may be expressing their own insecurities, and this understanding can help us respond with empathy rather than anger. Another dimension of self-control is the ability to set healthy limits. In a toxic relationship, we often accept behaviors that disrespect us, hoping that things will get better. However, true strength lies in knowing how to say no when necessary. This is not only a way to protect yourself, but also a way to model healthy behaviors for others. Remember Seneca's words, "The true measure of a man is what he does when no one is looking." The self-control and integrity you demonstrate in your actions can inspire others to do the same. Now think about your own experiences. Have you ever felt unable to control your reactions in a relationship? How has this affected the dynamic between you? The practice of ataraxia can be a powerful way to transform these situations. Instead of letting yourself be carried away by the emotional storm, you can become the safe haven, focusing on reason and calm. Reflecting on the teachings of Stoic philosophers can help us see beyond the immediate and build healthier relationships. By cultivating self-control, you not only protect yourself but also contribute to a more harmonious environment. Change begins within us, and the practice of ataraxia is an essential step on this journey. And in the end, ask yourself, how can you apply these Stoic principles in your everyday life? The path may be challenging, but remember that every little effort counts. Mental tranquility is not just a desired state, but a skill to be developed. By practicing self-control, you not only empower yourself, but you also become a beacon of wisdom and serenity in your relationships. When we talk about toxic relationships, one of the most subtle but devastating aspects is the way we can feel emotionally trapped. One of the clearest signs of this dynamic is the feeling that you must constantly justify yourself or ask permission for your choices and feelings. This ends up creating a cycle of insecurity, where each decision is shrouded in uncertainty and fear. Here, we can bring to light the Stoic concept of apatheia, which refers to the absence of disturbing passions and the ability to maintain serenity in the face of adversity. Apatheia should not be confused with indifference or apathy. It is a state of inner peace that allows us to observe our emotions without being dominated by them. Marco Aurelio, in his meditations, often spoke about the importance of focusing on what is within our control and accepting what we cannot change. This principle is fundamental when we deal with relationships that cause us suffering. The first step is to recognize that, regardless of the actions of others, our inner peace is our responsibility. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're in a relationship where your partner frequently criticizes your choices, whether it's about your career, friendships, or even your hobbies. At first, this criticism can hurt and make you feel insecure. However, by applying the concept of apatheia, you can begin to notice these criticisms without being shaken by them. Ask yourself, do these opinions reflect who I am, or are they just an expression of a distorted view of my partner? This reflection helps you detach emotionally, allowing you to make decisions that truly resonate with your essence. Another example can be seen in situations where you feel guilty about wanting space or time for yourself. The pressure to always be there for others can be overwhelming. However, by practicing apatheia, you realize that your feelings are valid and that taking care of yourself is not selfish, but a necessity. Seneca reminds us that it is easier to be a free man among slaves than a slave among free men. This emotional freedom is achieved by understanding that we are not responsible for the other person's reactions and that our well-being must be prioritized. Furthermore, it is essential to reflect on what really matters. In moments of tension, ask yourself, is this situation within my control? If the answer is no, then it's time to let go. Epictetus said that it is not things that trouble us, but the opinions we have about them. This emphasizes that how we interpret events in our lives can be more impactful than the events themselves. Therefore, by practicing apatheia, you become more resistant to the emotional storms that a toxic relationship can bring. In this sense, cultivating apatheia is a daily exercise. It may be helpful to take a few moments to self-evaluate, reflecting on your reactions and emotions. Ask yourself, am I responding to this situation clearly, or am I being driven by intense emotions? This type of questioning will help you develop a more balanced perspective and stay centered, even in the midst of chaos. Finally, by looking at Stoic teachings, we can remember that life is full of uncertainty, and that while we cannot control others, we can master our own minds. The serenity that comes from apatheia allows you to maintain your dignity and clarity of thought, even in a relationship that seems to be draining your energy. By internalizing these principles, you become stronger and prepare to make decisions that prioritize your emotional and psychological well-being. Reflect on your experiences and consider whether you have been influenced by disturbing emotions. Practicing apatheia can be a powerful path to restoring your inner peace and helping you navigate challenging relationships with more confidence and clarity. Throughout this video, we explore the 10 signs that you may be in a toxic relationship, using the teachings of Marco Aurelio to reflect on the importance of self-knowledge and resilience. Each sign we discuss is an opportunity to observe how our emotions and reactions can be influenced by that which is outside of our control. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom comes from within, from our ability to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and tranquility. Remember, by identifying these signs, you not only protect your emotional well-being but also open yourself up to a more meaningful life. Stoic philosophy is a powerful tool that can help us navigate the complexities of relationships, promoting a more rational and balanced approach. When we apply Stoic principles, such as the dichotomy of control, we learn to focus on what we can truly change and accept what we cannot. Now, I invite you to take a practical step. Reflect on a Stoic principle that resonates with you. Ask yourself, what is in my control in this situation? This simple reflection can transform the way you deal with daily challenges. If you benefited from this content, subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends who may also need these reflections. Leave a comment below with your experiences or insights about relationships, and click the bell to receive notifications about new videos that can enrich your journey. In closing, remember Marcus Aurelius' wise phrase, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." May this message inspire you to continue exploring and applying Stoic principles, always seeking inner peace and resilience in your life.